What up, culture? It's Pastor Goo. Welcome back to the Culture Collective. We hope you've been enjoying this collection on the book of James. We are on week 4, and today I'll be able to have the opportunity to talk about James chapter 4 with you. But before we get into that, let's get into some worship. What up, culture? My name is Goo, and I'm here to bring you another piece of the collection that we've been doing. If this is your first time seeing one of these videos, make sure you go to the beginning so you can catch up. We are on James 4 today. So I have the privilege of being able to read this chapter and share a word that God gave me, and I'm so excited. It made me really think about planning, made me think about goals and things that I want to do. And I know that I'm not the only one that in the last month or so, I've had plans that have had to be canceled. I have had things that I wanted to do and opportunities that had to be shut down because of, where we are in the world. And I'm a planner. For me, I like to know the answer to the question before it's even asked. And I've always had to deal with that. I've always had to deal with the fact that I don't know all the answers, but sometimes that's hard for me to accept. And when things don't go the way that I want, when plans don't go the way that I plan, I get a little bit shaken up. I get upset. I get disturbed. And my life is just all of a sudden not how I wanted it to be. And I end up in places where I'm not really sure how I got there because my plan did not go the way that I wanted to. I am a planner. And after reading James 4, I realized that I need to allow more space for God's plan, for what God wants to do. Because my plan is not always going to be the right plan, or there are going to be things that I just don't see in my plan. But God is seeing everything all at the same time. So, James 4, verses 13 through 17. Verse 13, come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will travel to such and such city and spend a year there and do business and make profit. You don't even know what tomorrow will bring, what your life will be, for you are like smoke that appears for a little while and then vanishes. It's okay to have a plan. It's okay to be a person with goals and accomplishments that you have for yourself. But how many times do our plans not really go the way that we want? Maybe God had a different plan, but we just were so set on what we were doing. We don't know what is going to happen. This verse says our lives go by so quick. How are we supposed to know exactly what's going to happen? But we freak out if it doesn't go the way that we want. We freak out if things don't happen the way that we wanted them to happen, the way that we saw it, something we've been dreaming about forever, and something just comes out of nowhere and shakes up our whole life. And we let it disrupt every single thing. James is saying that we need to adjust the way that we speak and act. He's saying adjust your character to be towards God's will, to want God's will to be what your plan is, to be within how we think, how we speak, how we act, how we carry ourselves. That God's will needs to be how we talk over our life, how we speak over what our situation will be. If God's will is going to be the direction for our lives, we need to take a back seat sometimes and be like, you know what? Maybe this isn't exactly what I need to be doing right now. Maybe this is selfish. Maybe this is something that I want to do for me, that it's not really going to help the community. It's not really going to contribute to my friends. It's not going to help my family. It's not going to bring my family to the church. It's not going to bring Jesus into my life. It's not going to bring Jesus into the situation that I need him to be in, because it's my plan. But here it's saying to adjust your character, adjust the way you speak. Your life goes by so quickly. And because your life goes by so quickly, you don't want to miss out on something that God can do. Verse 15. Instead, you should say, if the Lord's will, we will live and do this or that. We have to change the conversation. There have been so many times where I've been talking to my parents or talking to friends or family, and I'm saying, well, when I turn this age, I'm going to do this. And when I get to this point in my life, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And I've had to sit back and be like, wait, that didn't exactly happen the way that I wanted to. Especially when I was in high school. I had all these plans. I had plans to go to Master's Commission. I had plans to go to a different college than I did. I had plans to go to different places in my life. And God said, wait, this is what's actually going to happen. I didn't end up going to Master's Commission. God sent me to a different college, and there were just different opportunities that came up because I was able to listen to God's will. Was I mad? Yes. Was I frustrated that I didn't get to go to the big state school I wanted? Yes. But God opened doors that provided so much for my family, not just for me, provided for my friends. I was able to learn so many things in different parts of my life because I allowed God the space. Sometimes we need to just let ourselves go a little bit. We need to open up so God can come in. Verse 16. But as it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. So it is a sin for the person who knows what to do, what is good, and doesn't do it. Sometimes we're too arrogant to listen to God's voice, to listen to what God has, because we don't want anything messing with our plan. I know people, and I was one of those people that like, by this age, I'm going to do this. By this age, I'm going to do that. I'll be married at this age. I'll have kids at this age. I'll do this, this, and that. And I know that whenever that did not go according to plan, I ended up in these weird seasons where I was like, well, I don't want anybody's help. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I don't want what God wants. Where other people were telling me, hey, this is what God wants for you. Like, no, this is what I want for me. And I ended up getting into places where I was stuck, where I was in sin, where I was turned away from God because I didn't want his help, because I didn't want him to come near my situation. And I had to realize that maybe I didn't need to be in this season. If I would have just let God come in and realize that my life goes by so quick, and realize that I need to be speaking as if God was leading my life, maybe I wouldn't have gotten to that bad season in my life. Maybe I wouldn't have been depressed. Maybe I wouldn't have been heartbroken. Maybe I wouldn't have been hurt if I would have just let God do what he was supposed to do. Especially when we're young, we believe that we've got it all together. We believe that we are the ones who are in charge of our lives, and I'm going to make my own mistakes. I'm going to do what I want to do. And we're trying to figure out who we are in such a weird spot in our lives. We're trying to figure out who we are. But we can't do it alone. God is saying, yeah, you could try to figure it all out, but at the end of the day, I'm going to decide. The only thing that we need to do is let him decide. We need to let God come in and do what he needs to do. Because we find ourselves in these dark places. We find ourselves in these dark spots in our lives, in these seasons, and we're like, how did I get here? How did I end up here? I'm hurting. And then that's when we want to call on God. That's when we want to reach up to the heavens and scream out, God, I need you. Jesus, where are you? And he's sitting up there like, well, I tried. We need to let God in. If we ignore God's plan, we are in sin. Verse 17 says, so it is a sin for the person who knows what to do and doesn't do it. It is a sin for us to know the good and to steer away from it. God is waiting for us to open up our lives so that he can come in and do his thing. We need to adjust our character to God's will. We need to leave it all at his feet and give him the space to come in and change things for the better. God is always working. In the last couple years, that's been like my prayer. Whenever I'm praying, I'm like, Lord, I know you're working for me. You're working for my good. I know you're doing things that I can't see. You're doing things for me that I can't see. And later, time will pass and I'll see the fruit of what God's doing. I'll see the fruit of what God did in a season that I thought I had it all under control, and things changed because he was moving. He's always working for us and never against us. Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans I have for you. This is the Lord's declaration. Plans for your welfare, not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. God is always working for us, even when we don't see it. Even when our plan doesn't exactly line up with what actually is going on. Just know that God is always working. Let his will become your plan.
Thank you for watching another video on the Culture Collective. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe right now. And make sure you're following us on all social media platforms. We love you.